One to these guys.
I didn't know if I should do it here or have a part time.
No, it's fine.
Whichever way you're comfortable.
Yeah, we're
gonna start middle, we're gonna adjust if you hear for a second here.
No, I have not. No, but there's like one can share and it
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the City Council of the University City of Texas. It is Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, 6:32 p.m., and I'll call this meeting to order now and call for a quorum check, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Here.
Councilmember Buck.
Here.
Councilmember Bulman.
Here.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
We'll discuss in a moment.
Councilmember Najarian.
Here.
Councilmember Vaughn.
Discuss in a moment. Okay, with the quorum is present, we shall proceed. The invocation this evening will be given by Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby, and I'll lead us in the pledges afterwards, so would everyone please stand.
Please bow. Lord, we want to thank you for this wonderful day that you've given us. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to be up here, to be together, to make decisions that are what we hope are in the best interest of all those in Universal City. Lord, we ask that you be with our military, our first responders and their families. Keep them safe, keep them protected, and give them comfort. In your name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the flag. I pledge allegiance to the United Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. The usual, totally 100% unpredictable Texas weather. It's 50-something degrees. Who would have thought that, right? But anyway, thank you very much for coming this evening. We're glad you're joining us. Okay, the first item of business, we had two council members who are not here this evening. Councilmember Fitzpatrick has been under the weather for some days, and I said, it's time for you to stay home and get better. So she's one of them, and the other is Councilmember Vaughn, who is a CPA, and he's presenting tonight at another city. So that's part of his job, and obviously his job is very, very important. So we do need a motion to approve their absence.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Second by Councilmember Najarian. Discussion? All right, call for the vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Hi.
Okay, motion passes. We move on now to item number 4, staff reports, the discussion items. We'll allow the city manager will give a quick report, and she may have someone on staff who wants to report quickly. Then we'll move on to our citizens to be heard. So, Ms. Turner?
Thank you, Mayor. I only have one thing this evening. I wanted to apprise the council that, we've been discussing the entrance in front of the Walmart with the roundabout and the reconfiguration of Kitty Hawk Road in that area. So the Economic Development Corporation has met with their financial advisor. They have started the bond process for that, and so that will be coming before City Council. In fact, the Bond Council and the Legal Council is asking on May 21st that the EDC and the City Council have a joint meeting to approve those bond sales, and at that time we'll find out what the interest rate is as well. So, just want to let you know now so that you get on your calendar, but we'll send out a calendar notice for you as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anything from staff?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. All right, so our next item is the citizens to be heard. I just want to mention to you all that there were actually 4 sheets out there because there's going to be some public hearings and then the citizens to be heard. And I see that there are 7 people signed up for the public hearing and 2 for citizens to be heard. So I want to make sure that that's, and then I had a couple of individuals sign up for a couple of the public hearings. So let me read your names off, and if you want to do citizens to be heard, that's perfectly fine. If you want to wait for the public hearing, anybody can speak at public hearing as well. So the individuals that signed up actually for a public hearing, Daniels, Furrow, Ulrich, Hickman, Putt, is it Brione? Briones. Okay. Did you want to speak at citizens to be heard, not the public hearing initially?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, no, and as I say, it can get confusing. And then the other two
It's all
that
about
signed
the
up
same
were
bill.
Bernard Rubel and Tammy Banks.
It's all about the same building.
So they're here for 2117 Pat Booker.
Oh, you're
So
on
I'm
for
sure
2117.
under
We
the,
can do it all at one time.
It's up to you. Oh, no, okay, so
I didn't have my glasses on, so yeah.
you want to,
I love the
for the
citizens.
public hearing, we'll call you guys up on that for sure.
Yeah.
And for citizens who heard them, Mr. Rubel, Mr. Banks, Ms. Putt, anybody else want to do citizens to be heard? Okay, we'll do it that way, and then we'll go ahead and continue on, okay? It can get kind of confusing because there's a lot of papers out there, and so I just want to make sure I clarified that. Okay, so then, actually, let me call on first Mr. Bernard Rubel.
Councilmembers, Mr. Mayor, Councilmembers, city staff. First of all, correction in the minutes. Essentially, the reference that I made in the last citizens to be heard was for consideration to remove the special terms agreement in the sole source contract for waste management. Last time it was not quite put that way in the agenda. So please correct that for the future. The considerations tonight really are for the audit report. And one of the things that the citizens and council members I found have to have is that we have to have sort of a magic decoder ring. We've undergone 3 finance directors, and each finance director has a pattern, a path that they follow in order to get those reports together. And sometimes items appear and don't appear. As council members know, essentially I'm particularly interested in tracking something called promotions. It's $100,000 a year. There's a contingency fund for Parks and Rec for Snowfest. So we would like to be sure that that is balanced forward to save our residents $1 million in 10 years. So balancing forward the contingency fund would save that. Item number 2 has to do with the recently published article by our city staff with regard to the aviation district. And basically, the aviation district, of course, we must continually revitalize our resources that we have. However, the burn rate for the properties that are identified there is essentially $585,000 per acre. $585,000 per acre. So that's in order to get it to the point where essentially there's some consideration, possibly in the future, maybe in the future type thing for development. There's a big disparity between the concept of the aviation plan and the actual implementation of the aviation plan. If one looks at, using Google Maps, the areas that are available for purchase to be changed into an actual development plan, one finds with the acreage on the east side of Pat Booker, just for the commercial areas, that would require $38 million. If we look on the west side of Pat Booker, that's an additional $29 million. So just for those areas, that would be a burn rate of $67 million. That's not including the areas that go out to Trudy, which would add up out to Trudy and also to the west, which will add up to be $131 million. So the biggest issue, I think, with the aviation plan is that there hasn't been any resident buy-in. There are big changes to change zoning, and I think council should move forward to get the residents involved with those zoning changes well before essentially $131 million is spent in the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rubel. Next individual is Tammy Banks. Ms. Banks.
City Council. Mine's a little bit more simple. I live over off of Meadowland,
And our park that we have over there, we have a lot of people that walk their dogs through there, like most parks. But we want to see about getting a doggy stations put in there. Because apparently a lot of people don't carry bags with them when they walk their dogs. So noticed a lot of parks around Universal City do have the doggy stations. And we just, a lot of us that walk our dogs over there would like to not have all the bombs to step in. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Right, so now, the public hearing list, there's still, I think Ms. Putt is probably the last one there. The rest of you will speak about that particular item. Okay. Ms. Putt?
Good evening. I'm Lori Putt. I'm at 114 Foxglove. And as you can tell, I'm here representing Parks Partners. We have several fundraisers throughout the year, and we kind of wait for it to accumulate until we've got something worthwhile to give. And our partners in crime, Christina and Cheryl Maxwell, are homesick, so I'm including them into this presentation because they worked very hard to get this as well. We had our pumpkin patch, this young man here, Silas. He is one of our junior managers, and he runs it with a steel fist and sometimes sticks. But he is here. Randy, can you come up for a little bit? And we expect Randy to do his magic. We're presenting him with a check of $40,000 from Parks and Rec. I made him wash his hands before he touched the check. Randy and I have talked about it. We've done different parks over the years, and this one we're going to focus is on Red Horse Park. But Randy has the ability to turn $40,000 into $80,000 with matching grants and all kinds of things. So it's a good investment, and it's always a joy working with you. And I love my green apron. So this is what we do, folks. We raise money for the parks.
Well, thank you, Lori. Thank you, the rest of the members of Parks Partners. And yes, Christine, Cheryl, everybody.
And Ollie.
Ollie. Yes, everyone. Definitely, I have no problems putting this to good use. Never.
So thank you all. Thanks for giving us this opportunity.
It is absolutely amazing what Park Partners is able to come up with in terms of creative functions and things like that that make our city so much more popular and lots of happy people, especially people that use our parks. So I know Randy will put that money to very good use, and he is a genius at getting matching grants. So we suspect that number is going to rise significantly. So thank you very much, all of you. Okay, so I think the rest of you are interested in speaking during the public hearing. Is that right? Now, did anyone else want to address council, though, that didn't have a chance to sign up on Citizens to be Heard? Because I'll give you that opportunity now before we press. Okay, let's go ahead and press on then to we're going to have a series of public hearings now. There's actually going to be 3 of them. Public's invited to address each item listed in this section. And it gives us a chance to hear about the potential changes that some people would like to have. And then I open up the public hearing and I'll allow you to comment about it. And when we close the public hearings, they're actually on 3 different public hearings, but they're basically the same location. And then after that, public hearings are completed, then the council will have the opportunity to discuss them as well. So that's kind of a process. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that process. Okay, so we'll do the public hearing in a few minutes. It's all related to 2117 Pat Booker Road. Those 3 items under tab A. So I'll let the council, city make a presentation, and then we'll open up the public hearing. So Mr. Turner, I'll turn it over to Michael.
Michael's going to go ahead and handle these particular requests.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you mentioned, we have 3 requests tonight for the property at 2117 Pat Booker Road, which you may, I don't know if you can put the aerial, but anyway, located on Pat Booker Road is traditionally, it was a law office. It was never really designed to be commercial services or a retail type of building. So we have 3 potential users: a real estate office, telecom service recovery, and an insurance firm that would like to locate there. However, according to our code, in order to do so, they need to request a specific use permit. And so they did go before planning and zoning a couple weeks ago, and they had unanimous approval votes for all three. Just a couple of quick notes. So staff, meaning the fire marshal and building official, have done a walkthrough already at the building, everything that they needed to do to bring it up to code. Those were very small items they have, and so these folks are ready to get in there, and staff does not have an issue with any of these uses at that location.
Okay, is that pretty much everything for all three of the public
That's
hearings?
for all three, yes.
Because we're actually talking about, a Suite A, Suite B, and Suite D, because there's, one's an insurance office, one's a telephone service, and the other's a real estate office. So I'll go ahead now at, let's see, what time do we have that on here? We have 6:48. I'll open up the public hearing, and those of you that have signed up, I'll call your name, and then anybody else that wants to speak after that is certainly welcome to do that. So the person that signed up here is Mr. Roy Daniels. Danny?
Hello, I'm Roy Daniels. Good evening, Mayor, Council, elite city officials. Like I said, I'm Roy Daniels, and I'm the other half of the Daniels and Daniels ownership with my lovely wife, Fran, back there. We also have with us our accountant, Mary and Shelley, also bookkeeping, and Lisa, who does our property management, also my stepdaughter, her husband and family, and we got Kelly, she's everything. She does she's a realtor, she does our office leadership, everything. So we're all here, and I didn't even have to pour some account, so came up. But we actually opened our own company in 2017, and we started off at the Kitty Hawk, 433 Kitty Hawk, lower level, 2-room office. We outgrew that quickly, moved upstairs, 3 rooms, conference room. It was really nice, but then in short order, we noticed that the stairs were really difficult, not only for our staff, but customers. So we started looking everywhere for like a single-story building. We looked at all kinds of, throughout Universal City. Lindbergh, Coronado Square, all kinds of places. So, but one thing we didn't do is we didn't look outside of Universal City, because this is our community. We live here, we go to church here, we shop here, we want to work here, so we want to continue that. So, so we're requesting that you approve this special bond, or council, or special use permit. Special use permit, that's it. And then lastly, I wanted to also mention that, we also are very much involved with the city. I think you guys may have heard of us around, doing stuff with the city. If we're not directly participating, we're sponsoring. So again, I appreciate your time and your opportunity to approve this.
Okay. Okay, next person, Ms. Kelly Furl.
Me.
There you
Okay, hi, I'm Kelly Farrow, and I'm with the Daniels and Daniels crew, Daniels and Daniels real estate family, because that's how we see ourselves, is as a family. And like Roy said, we opened the doors in 2017 here in Universal City, and it's been home. We were welcomed with open arms. We did a grand opening and a ribbon cutting ceremony and had the city support. And as a new business getting started, we were involved in events and everything to get our name out there, really, because that's smart business. But very quickly, it turned from it being just that to being, the more people we got to know, the more we were, like I said, we were open arms, welcomed in, and we just got pulled closer and closer and closer. And so we consider ourselves a family, but we very quickly realized we had just become part of an even bigger family, and that's Universal City. And we, like Roy said, we have, well, he didn't say we had fun, but oh my gosh, we had so much fun participating in the events. If we participate, we always sponsor. Regina knows, I call her and she's like, I haven't even posted anything about it yet. I'm like, yeah, but what do I need to do? And what's the sponsorship criteria and all the things? And we love it. Roy's been the polar bear at Snowfest a couple of times. He's been the Easter Bunny. This coming Hunt, I'm gonna be the Easter Bunny, and they needed somebody. I said, I'll do it. So we love Universal City. We've looked at so many buildings, and we finally found one that fits what we need. It's just the zoning, and so we would love it if you guys would approve that for us, because we don't want to leave Universal City because it has become our home. So, thank you.
Okay. Next individual this evening, a small voice, is Ms. Virginia Ulrich.
Hello, Mayor, City Council. My name is Virginia Brister Ulrich. My father is Mr. Brister. I am now the owner of that building. My mom said I'm the owner, and she said I can rent it to whoever I wanted to rent it to. So Fran and Roy would like to move into my building, and then Farmers Insurance, the Hickmans, would like to move into my building, and then John would like to move into my building with the Spectrum in the back. And I'm hoping maybe even to have an accountant maybe move in. It's 5,900 square foot. It's a big, big building, and we're all professionals, and I can't wait for them to move in. And I'm hoping maybe even tomorrow. We've had the building rekeyed. We've had a new fire alarm system put in. I've had lighted exit signs put in. My mom is now considered broke, and so we brought it up to code for the Linda and their crew there. So please vote yes for us to move all everybody in.
Okay, very good. Next individual, Stephen Hickman.
I'm obviously not Stephen, but.
Okay. But he did sign up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't realize I was signing up for us to talk. I thought we were just like signing in, but. But I'm Jennifer Hickman, my husband Stephen Hickman. We've had an insurance agency since 2009. We purchased an agency here in Universal City about a year and a half ago. That agent had been here for 18 years, so he has built a big clientele in Universal City, so we do want to keep an office here for those clients that he has built up, because we continue to service them here. Similar, we've looked at several buildings. This one fits our needs. It's, we also are growing, so we need that extra space. And kind of similar to everybody else, we're just hoping you guys can improve that permit so we can continue to do business here for our clients. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, Jennifer spoke at Stephen. Did you want to speak too?
I'm good, thank you.
You're good? All right, okay. Then we have John Briones.
Hello, I'm John Briones with Acorn Legacy. We are a third-party corporation for the cable companies in the United States. We're located in Dallas, Texas, and that is where our corporate office is. We've been doing this for 30 years, but we are a silent piece of this business. We do the recovery for Spectrum here in this area. We recovery with equipment for commercial business and for residential business. We really just use this office space for invoicing and auditing and payroll. We're in there twice a week. We go in, do the payroll, do the invoicing, auditing their invoices, making sure they're correct, and then keeping up with the accounting of equipment coming in and out. So there really isn't anybody in there all the time. I'm remotely, so I go everywhere in the United States, which happens to be where all my offices are, and I travel just to make sure auditing and invoices kept up to date. We do hire staffing here, which are our technicians who do go out in the field, so we do hire all over the areas and all over the cities. So we do bring staff in, just our office is dedicated only though to the payroll side. This is an easy, we've been here in the San Antonio office area for 13 years. We just opened up another office on the west side. We're trying to create another one here on this side. So it's easy access for anybody to come in and out if they need to, go to the office if they need to, for any meetings that we must have. It's easy for us just getting off and coming in. The city's small. We try to stay in small cities because we are private. We don't bring traffic into our offices. We have no customers coming in and out of our offices, so it just stays as private as possible. And yet, because we are third party, and because we're out there doing recovery and just don't want people showing up to the office for those purposes. So it is private. We're asking for you to approve us to be in there, just again, 2 days out of the week. We're stay located, we stay quiet. We're not anything that causes any type of traffic. We're in an office maybe 2 hours in the entire time frame in that sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else on this particular public hearing now? Again, there's three of them that are all related to suites A and B, and one is for real estate, one's telecom, and the other insurance. So we've heard from you now. Did anybody else want to address us on the council before we move on? Okay. I'll close that public hearing now at 6:56. And we'll move on to the next public hearing. Let me just reiterate again, this is another one, it's SU 119, and it's for 8890 Coronado Boulevard in Coronado Village to allow commercial office off-street parking use for electric vehicle charging in a C2 retail district for zoning ordinance 581. So, got that one again, Mr. Casar?
Yes, sir.
We'll have these public hearings, and then later on, council will address each of these issues.
So as you mentioned, this is a vacant lot. It's about a third of an acre behind Sonic. It's a vacant property at 890 Coronado Boulevard, and the applicant is proposing to establish an electric vehicle charging lot. Some highlights of the project that are, as are noted in the staff memo. It is for private fleet use only, so not for the general public. A total of 12 chargers will be installed, 4 in the first phase, followed by 8 in phase 2. The vehicles will only be present on site while being charged, so they won't be stored there, just when they're getting charged. There will be an attendant on duty. Charging time takes between 4 and 7 hours for each vehicle. Each charging station will range from 3 feet to 6 feet in height, and we did include some pictures of what those chargers look like in your packet. They don't make noise, so they won't have a negative impact from a noise standpoint on the neighbors. There's an existing fence on 2 sides. There'll be fencing off the remainder of the property, and there will be a gate at the entrance. The fences will be no taller than 6 feet. Planning and Zoning did approve this unanimously, but Planning and Zoning Commission did bring up some excellent points. And so that is reflected in the 2 conditions that we're suggesting for approval. And one is the potential light impact. If they do have security lighting that's installed, we want to ensure that they don't have a negative impact on the existing or the nearby residential neighbors. Keep in mind that there's an alley in between this lot and the nearest neighbors, but still, any lighting that's provided should be shielded or downward lighting. And we can take a look at that through the building permit process. The second item that P&Z came up with was adherence to CPS and their energy conservation chart. And so this chart is included in your packet as well. And essentially, it provides some guidelines during different stages of conservation. And so the yellow, orange, and red are the primary important ones. And for yellow, it states that they should charge electric vehicles at night after 10 p.m. during the orange alert, avoid charging EVs or charge them overnight, and then do not charge during the red alert. And so during the P&Z Commission meeting, the applicant, who was there tonight, we can answer some additional questions, did state that they would follow the conservation chart. And let's see, some other additional items that P&Z did bring up, impact to the roads. And so we did check with Public Works, the roads, because these will be trucks that'll be using the roads to get their text out and city roads. And so there will not be any significant impact to the roadway system. These are not high voltage charging stations. They're using AC power, not DC power. So they're not DC fast charging stations that you might see at other locations. They don't need a phase 3, or 3-phase. 800 amperage is the average, which is about the equivalent of 2 commercial buildings. And that's about it.
Okay. All right, so it is now 7 o'clock, and we open the public hearing on this particular item. Again, it's a PC 598, specific use permit for commercial off-street parking. Anyone would like to address council on this particular proposal? Yes, sir, please come on.
Hello, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Michael Almquist. I'm actually the applicant, but just wanted to thank you for bringing this in front of the council. I believe we do have a good understanding of the questions asked of the Zoning and Planning Committee. These vehicles will be a new technology clean vehicles that we think will provide maybe in the county a benefit in air quality. And then, as stated, there's really no sort of special electrification that needs to occur via CPS. It's going to be a AC voltage, which is fairly common in commercial applications, but we look forward to hearing those voted and working with them in the future.
Okay, and when it's our turn, if we have any questions, we'll let Councilman address them too. Okay, very good. All right, anyone else? Okay, 7:02, let's close that public hearing and move on to the next one, which is PC 601 SU 2022. Again, a request for a specific use permit at 1202 Pat Booker Road, allowing for a professional office, engineering office, in a C2 retail district for zoning ordinance. So, Michael, here's your last one.
Yes, sir. So as you mentioned, this is an engineering office or firm that would like to locate one of their offices, satellite office, at 1202 Pat Booker Road. This is where the Happy Liquor is, right next to Whataburger. And so they purchased the property, I believe, a couple of years ago, and now they intend to occupy the entire building. And in order to do so, a professional office use in the C2 district requires a specific use permit. So this one's pretty cut and dry.
Okay, good. And I'll go ahead and I guess it's 7:03, we'll open the public hearing. Does anyone want to address Councilman? Yes, sir, please.
I apologize for not signing up, I totally forgot. My name is Roy Samwana. I'm the Business Development Director for Millenium Engineering Group. And we have 7 different locations throughout the state of Texas. This one will be, with your blessing, will be number 8. We chose Universal City simply because, believe it or not, I convinced all the engineers and architects in the office that I wanted an office in Universal City because I'm retired military. I spent 10 years at Randolph, and I love Universal City. I have property here. Unfortunately, I don't live here. I live on the other side of town, close to my Grand Shore. But at any rate, we're an engineering firm. We're going to start off by hiring 2 people locally, and within 3 years, we plan on going up to 20. That whole building we bought, we're going to do a major renovation to it. And again, with your blessing, we want to hire locally. We're going to stay here, and we look forward to doing business.
Good, thank you. Stick around in case we have some questions for you.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? All right, so it's 7:05. I'll close that public hearing, and that concludes the public hearing for this evening. You'll hear council address those in a little while. We'll move on now to our next item, which is announcements. And we'll have the city manager and myself and the council members can discuss it, and then we'll move on to the rest of the item. So it's an opportunity for the city manager to present things to us, for me to make some comments, and our council people to make comments as well. We used to do this at the very end of the meeting. We've moved it to where we think it's more meaningful for you all that are here, because sometimes meetings go on for quite a while. So let's go and let's our city manager comments first, and then I'll follow. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. As mentioned, thank you. The fun never ends in Universal City, so we do have a couple of events coming up. Easter egg hunt, April 2nd, Red Horse Park. We hope to see all of you there. And then also, May 4th is our pancake breakfast with the fire department, and they are well under their way for their planning on that. And that is all I have for this evening.
Okay, good. I just have a couple of items. And Mr. Rulo alluded to it, but Community Impact, which is really the local newspaper that now services a lot of our communities. We used to get the Herald. Herald is no longer distributed in Universal City or Live Oak and a couple of the other suburban cities. Very lengthy article, and it also goes to our homes directly into your mailboxes. So if you haven't had a chance to read it, it's a pretty good analysis of the aviation district master plan and what we will look forward to doing in the future. So I commend you to take a chance, take some time and to read it. And I think it's got, that area has great potential for us. We understand the concerns from Mr. Rubal, we appreciate that. But it's something that I think is very important for our city. At our next meeting, which will be the first meeting in April, which is April
2nd.
2nd, we're going to go purple. I know we got these colors on, and pink and purple and stuff and everything else, but what we were doing this for a specific reason. We always say thank you and really support our troops our military men and women in uniform and whatever. We haven't talked about the kids. Children are very much a part of that military family. So this is going to give us a chance on that Tuesday evening to recognize the military child. And there's a whole bunch of them. And I have 3 of them. Some of us have had kids that certainly have traveled all around the world and represented their country. So this will give us a chance on the 2nd to honor those young men and women. So be prepared. I told everybody, wear purple. We'll do our best. I don't know if I have any purple. I have to figure that out. Okay, all right, okay. We are going to move to our more relaxed attire starting that first meeting in April. It'll be the short sleeve polo shirt, a little more relaxed. Hopefully the temperature will have changed and it warm things up a little bit. So that will be our first meeting. Judge and Bond Oversight Committee meeting is tomorrow morning. Mr. Najarian is going to represent the city on that. We all of us that have a vested interest, obviously, in the Judson ISD, want to stay up to speed on what's going on. So Paul's going to represent us and keep us up to snuff on what's going on with the Judson ISD. I think if you've noticed in the schools, the elementary schools in the area here, right now it's a whole process that they're refencing everything. And if you've been down at UC Boulevard and Athenian area, you've seen at that school there. That's a process that's been going on. That was approved a couple of months ago. So anyway, Paul's going to represent us there. And the last item is that Mr. Najarian, myself, and Ms. Turner, and Maribel Garcia had a chance to go to the Northeast Partnership meeting last week, and the judge, Peter Sakai, was their speaker, and Mr. Maxwell along as well. It was an opportunity for us to listen to the judge, and he was really open, very, very supportive of the communities here. He realizes that this part of his county is very, very positive, and so much is happening up here, and he recognizes it. He got caught in traffic, and I said, that's okay, dude. So anyway, it was a really good presentation. We have a strong ally. We also obviously have a precinct commissioner, Tommy Calvert, who's been extremely supportive of us in many, many issues, especially community development block grant issues. So we owe a lot to our county, and I think we have a winner in Judge Sakai. I think we're very pleased to have him in our community area. Okay, that's my remarks for today. So I'll start out with Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, thanks, sir. I don't have much. March 25th, I believe, is the brush cleanup. That's when it starts the brush cleanup. Is that correct, Andy?
Yes, sir. Have all your stuff out, bundled and bagged, not lying loose, at the curb by 7 a.m. And that is the week they will pick it up. So they don't get you on the first day. Hang tight. It's not over until 6 o'clock Friday.
Great.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Buck?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the Parks Partners, thank you for the very generous donation. I know a lot of work goes into that with your various fundraisers throughout the year, especially to you, young Silas. Thank you very much for handing that over on behalf of the Parks Partners. Look forward to seeing you up here on this dais one day. Maybe. Stay active in your community, seriously. Good job, guys. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's really all I have.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Yes.
I just wanted to thank Daniels and Daniels for coming in, and so many of you, when I saw that you guys were on the agenda, I instantly knew who you were just because you've literally been at every single event, your name's on everything, and I just think there's something really special about that. So when I saw you guys were choosing to continue to stay in UC, I thought that's pretty amazing, but I also I don't know how you guys do it. Like, you have to have such a kind, generous heart, because like I said, I can't even, every time I see your name on every event, I just think, wow, this guy like really cares. And his whole team, I mean, you guys just obviously really care and love where you're at, and I don't know if there's like a million people I could say that about. So I just thank you guys for all of your support and everything that you do. I know my kids have benefited from, you know, the stuff you guys have donated from the Easter egg hunt, and just everything you guys do has just been absolutely incredible. So I appreciate that you guys do so much for UC, and also that, I mean, look at how many people are here for you. That's very special. Like, I hope you realize, like, that's amazing that you guys have this many people that love and support you, that work for you. How many people love their boss? Like, I just think it's really beautiful. I appreciate wanted to thank you guys for all coming out and just being amazing for UC. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You took a lot of my stuff.
Well, that's why you're last, so you add on to it.
So as you may have heard, I'm going to be going to a Judson ISD bond meeting tomorrow morning to learn more about how our bonds are being spent. If you noticed the fence that he was referring to at the elementary school, that is going up quickly. That is showing, again, that is out to really show that this is the demarcation point. This is our schools, these are our children that we love, and you will not compromise that. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that, and we stand behind that. And to let you know that I believe, I'm just getting to, I believe that's from a 2017 bond. I do know it is actually ahead of schedule, running ahead of schedule, and I might not be correct, but I think I am. I think it is actually not only on budget, but below budget on that. So really good kudos out there to management of the Judson ISD board. And I've been getting into that more and more, so we really appreciate them on that. As Mayor also said, the Northeast Partnership is fantastic. We Judge Sakai, and we have our Northeast Partnership, the monthly meetings we have contain a lot of the mayors and council and management of the cities, city managers. We all get involved because we know, yes, we are individual cities, but as a Northeast Partnership corridor, together we do more, and coordinated together, we're unstoppable, and that's where we're headed. So I love being at those meetings as well. We actually had that meeting in Garden Ridge, which is not normal, because we normally have those monthly meetings at our Olympia Hills Golf Course. And the reason we didn't have it at the Olympia Hills Golf Course is because, if a lot of you know, the floor and many renovations are being done at the golf course. I got a chance to go in there to see it today. I was going to post the pictures out, but I didn't have time to do it. The main floor, oh my gosh, it's absolutely beautiful. Go into the kitchen, everything's been being torn out, renovated. Thank you, Lord, the bathrooms are being taken care of. And it's just a lot of good things happening out there. So a lot of the dollars that are going out there are working, and there's a lot more to come. And it's little steps, but it's going to start moving more and more from here. And today, the floor, tomorrow, the parking lot, move up and forward, fantastic. I did have something else on here, but I do not see it as of yet. So just to let you know that your dollars are being used wisely, and I just want to thank the partners again. That's why the monies that are given over, when we have wise management of that money, that sometimes you say, okay, let's go spend it now. But if you keep it for a little while, and you have grants come up and you have matching funds, you get those funds, or in line to get those funds. If you don't have matching funds, they go to somewhere else. And Randy and our staff have been very wise with that, and very appreciative of that as well. And I've probably taken much more time than I should have. So that's all for me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
One other item, and I don't know if you want to clarify it, but I think there's going to be a little bit of a disruption on Peck Booker Road over the railroad tracks coming up. I think, should we wait until we get more information? But they're going to be rerouting. They're going to be doing some work on that, on the tracks that go right between Aviation and 78 going on the base. So there's going to be some rerouting is it just going to be one day, Randy? Is it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be one day. It's on our Facebook page.
Yeah, that's where I saw it. I saw it on our Facebook page.
This Saturday,
Is it this coming Saturday?
Yes, it is.
So if you're gonna go on to base, you have military privilege, find another way to go besides Pat Booker, because you're not gonna get there on Pat Booker. Okay? So, but there's app notice on it, so
Mr. Mayor?
just wanna let you, yes.
I did forget one thing.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just a big shout out. This Thursday night, our UCCPAAA, Universal City Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, say that fast 3 times, and good luck with that. Starts our new academy this Thursday night, runs for 8 weeks, and we are filled to capacity with lots of people that are really interested in learning and being involved with the police department and getting more involved with the city. The next one will be in March if you really missed out, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
You're Jim Brister's daughter?
Yes.
Did you say? I don't know if you all know that, but Jim was active for many, many years here in Universal City, and I've known him personally for a long time. He was a judge here, so he has somewhat of a legacy in our community. So thank you very much for taking it on, continuing it on. Appreciate it very much. Okay, those are our announcements. So we'll move on to our consent agenda. It's tab number 8. There's 2 items on that agenda. Listed as routine items, unless someone wanted to pull one. We're going to pull item number 2, or just specifically for a vote for Councilmember Bulman wanted us to do that. And under the minutes, Mr. Rubal will definitely take a look at it and clarify with you, make sure that the wording is correct in those minutes. So, be glad to entertain a motion on.
Move to approve.
Second. Najarian, second by Representative Goolsby. Any discussion with the changes? Make those changes, yeah. Okay, call the vote then, please.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Bach.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes with the changes. Another one, the one that we pulled is Resolution 969/2024, and it is it's authorizing section 505-158. Certain financial assistance to be used for targeted infrastructure located within the city. And this will be our second reading, so I think Ms. Bowman wanted to pull it so we could have an official vote again. So we need a motion.
Move to approve.
Okay, motion made.
Second.
And second by Najarian. All right, any discussion? All right, let's call for that vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Councilmember Bach.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
No.
Okay, that motion passes. I'll move on then to our action items. And the big action item for this evening is tab number B. It's the FY 2023 Audit Report. So I'll turn it over to you, Ms. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Before we jump into the audit, which I'm very happy to report will be very good news for the city, I did want to just take a moment and recognize our finance department, because Christine has been here now just about 1 year. And I think sometimes people work very quietly in the background and people don't realize how much they've accomplished in that time, Christine and her staff. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to them. So in the year that she's been here, they have transitioned us from one bank to another. We think that's not a big deal, but we're transitioning in investments, probably about 17 accounts, savings and checking. It was a very arduous task and they did it very gracefully. Also wanted to note that she was able to go back and clean up not just this year's finances, because she inherited some stuff, but last year's finances as well, and I think that's a very big achievement for us. The other thing that we did, as I mentioned, we had all of those various checkings and savings accounts. She has recently gotten us to pooled cash, which means we just have a very few accounts, and so it makes our financial practices a lot smoother and more efficient. And then also on our server for our utility court and our finance, we were on a hard server. We have now gone to a cloud conversion with another cloud backup, which was a very big project that they took on. We've also gone into automated purchasing orders. It used to be we had that darn slip of paper with the invoice that got passed around from person to person to person and building to building to building, and that is all electronic now, so that has been a huge time saver for us. As you know, when we did the budget this year, they completely revamped the budget book and put a lot of appendages and information in there that we think are helpful not only for the staff but for the residents as well. And then obviously successful and on-time audits. Also, Christine and Mateo have done some advanced training on getting their certified government finance officer. So even while they were doing all of that, they were going to class. They had passed their first module, getting prepared for the second, so we're very proud of that. And then the last thing we did, which she recently approved, was our purchasing policy. So I just wanted to thank Christine and her staff for all of the excellent work that they have done to bring us into some very good financial compliance. And so with that, it's going to be tough to beat, but Janet, you're up for the audit. I'm sure all of you know Janet Pittman. She was with ABIP. They've been our audit advisors for quite many years, and so she's going to go over the fiscal year 2023 audit with you. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Kim. Good evening, Mayor Williams, council members. You stole my thunder. I was going to also tell you that you have an awesome finance department. The last 2 years, you've had a lot of turnover there, so we're actually on time this year to present this audit report. The last 2 years, it's been in August so we're finally back on track, and I want to thank Kim with her leadership, and also Christine with all of her staff that has gotten us back to a good point. Now, we will go through you have the document. It's about 100 pages, so I've comprised a little just presentation. And if you have any questions during the presentation, please let me know. So there's a lot of information in the audit report. Those are the items that we're going to talk briefly about. So we are required to follow the 3 sets of standards, the generally accepted auditing standards issued by the AICPA, government auditing standards, and because you spent some federal dollars, over $750,000 this year, we're also required to follow the uniform guidance, which is published by the Office of Management and Budget. So what is the purpose of an audit? Is to form an opinion on whether your financial statements are presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and they are. Your audit opinion is unmodified, which is the best opinion that we can give you for your financial audit. The second section in the audit financial statements is the management discussion and analysis, and it's a comparison from this year to last year. So I'm going to go over some of the highlights of that. So your government-wide financial statements, these are presented on the full accrual basis. You've got governmental funds and business-type activities. Your governmental activities comprise of the general fund, the capital projects fund, and your debt service fund. Business-type activities are your golf fund, your stormwater, and also your water and sewer funds. And they're all combined into 2 different columns. So your assets exceeded your liabilities at the end of 2023 by $92.7 million, and they're pretty evenly divided. Governmental activities, $43.3 million, and the business type activities, $49.4 million. Your net position in total increased by $9.6 million from 2022, and the governmental activities, that was $3.4 million. The increase was primarily in your sales tax, and also a big increase in investment earnings for everybody across the board this year. Business type activities increased your fund balance and net position by $6.2 million. Again, that was from investment earnings and also your water and sewer, residential, commercial charges for services. Then we'll talk about the individual funds. You've got your governmental funds. Your total fund balance is $24.3 million. The unassigned fund balance is $16.1 million, and that is totally in your general fund. You have 11 months of operating reserves, or if we take out the capital outlay that you spent during the year, you do meet your 12-month coverage. Prior year, you had 12 months also. You do have some restricted fund balance in the general fund. You've got $1.5 million. Most of that is in hot taxes, the hotel motel taxes, your PEG funds, court security, and court technology. And then there's some smaller ones for parks and whatnot. Capital projects fund has $4.9 million. Those are restricted bond money that you've got reserved or restricted for street projects. And then again, your debt service fund has a fund balance of 1.1 million, and that is restricted for debt service payments. Some information on your revenues and expenditures. Revenues, total revenues were, and again, this is just in the general fund, 19 million. It was a $1.3 million increase. The large one again was investment earnings, a little over $800,000 increase from last year, and then some small increases in your ad valorem and sales taxes.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yes.
If you go back to that previous slide, the sales taxes, was that only the sales tax portion designated for the general fund?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is exclusive of
The golf.
the 1 cent that is the EDC and the golf course?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's just in the general fund.
Thank you.
Sure. Your expenditures were 17.3 million this year, a little increase, 1.4 million. Most of it was in your capital outlay. You had an increase of $700,000, and that was mostly in your Parks and Recreation Department, park improvements, the playgrounds, and those kinds of things. And then every department kind of overall added a couple of vehicles. And then small increases in the police and the fire. Talking about your proprietary funds, these are charges for services for your citizens, your water and sewer net position. It's 39.5 million, an increase of 4.6 million. Again, we talked about that came from water, mainly water increases, also investment increases. The stormwater net position increased by 906,000. Most of that was a transfer from the golf fund into the stormwater fund for some projects in the at the golf course. And then the golf fund also increased by 718,000. That's a big increase. All three funds in positive net position, and also a positive increase in each of the funds. Because you spent some federal dollars this year, we also have two other reports in the back of the document. One is the government auditing standards. It's a report on your internal controls of your financial reporting. If we had any issues with your segregation of duties, it would be in this report. We are pleased to say that we did not have anything to report on there. So good internal controls and segregation of duties over your major processes, which are cash disbursements, cash receipts, payroll processing. And then the last report is our uniform guidance report. It's we audited the ARPA funds. You spent about $864,000 this year. You still have, I believe, about 2.8 million left to spend. And again, we had no findings or question costs in any of those transactions that we looked at. And that's it. If anyone has any questions, I would truly be glad to address them.
Can you open it up to council for comments and discussion? Yes, Ms. Bulman.
All right, numbers aren't my thing, so bear with me. So our revenues were 19 million, but we spent 17.3 million. Okay, so all I really want to just point out is, so we spent less than we brought in by quite a lot. So I just wanted to point it out before we start budget season that maybe when the residents and council members ask for $200,000 or a very small amount off a budget, that seems like it's kind of a trend that we always bring in more than what we spend. So there always seems to be an excess, but yeah, when budget season comes, we always pretend like there's not. And so I'm just trying to point out that maybe for the rest of the council, we can remember the audit and maybe just bring that into budget season when that starts in July.
Yes, ma'am, I understand, but what we also have to understand is that council asked us to have a 12-month fund balance.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to cover 12 months worth of expenses. So it's kind of it's a balance between the two.
I agree. I just,
Yeah.
Like
No,
that.
no, you're exactly correct. Unfortunately, if you look though, right now, we're just on the line to me our fund balance.
Yeah, I agree, I just, it always just seems.
It does look, I understand, I fully understand, it does look like we have a lot of money, but it's because it's 12 months reserve or 12-month fund balance is what it is. Because if you really look at the audit without removing the capital expenses, we don't use the fund balance policy. That was put in place by council. So, but you're right, during budget, we'll absolutely have to look at these things, but we'll then want to have council consider the fund balance policy as well.
I just want to say one thing to that also. Yes, you did receive $19 million in revenues and your expenditures were less. Some of those revenues are restricted revenues.
Yes.
So you kind of have to splice that out too. So.
Right, they don't necessarily always equate to tax dollars.
Right.
Anybody else? Very thorough. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you.
I think, as Mr. Turner alluded to, the city is in good financial shape.
Yes, sir.
It's in good financial shape, but that doesn't mean we can just sit back on our laurels, but we gotta get better. So we appreciate that very, very much. Now, this does require a motion for council to approve this audit.
Mr. Mayor, moves to approve the financial audit for the city of, I wasn't finished. For the city of Universal City, Mr. Mayor.
Motion made, Councilmember Buck, second by Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby. Any other discussion? All right, call for the vote then, please, Mayor Bell.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, move on now to tab number C. It's a resolution 896D 2024. It's a resolution of the city authorizing the filing of a grant application with the Bexar County Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG program for 2024. There's other items on that, but it says that the grant, if received, the city of Universal City would comply with the grant requirements. So, sir?
Yes, sir. So as you know, this is just the authorization to allow us to submit the application. CDBG is a very good program for doing water, street, and sewer projects within our city. And so we are asking you for approval. I gave you a little information on what we've been approved for in the past, what street we're looking at in the future, which I believe is Flintstone. And we just ask that council authorizes to submit that application.
Just for the audience, we apply this application every year through the county, and so the county manages those funds, and then we request them, and we have been extremely successful over the last 15, 17 years. I think we've only had 1 or 2 years that we didn't get the type of funding that we had asked for, but it has been incredibly important for us to be able to do a lot of the repair work that we've done over the years. And so we owe a nice debt of gratitude to the county for really helping us be able to do what we do.
Move to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Pro Tem, and second by Councilmember Bulman. Any further discussion, anyone? All right, call for the vote then, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
Okay, I just signed it. We're ready to go. All right, let's move on. Okay, now we have tab D, E, and F. Those now gives council an opportunity to discuss those particular issues that we covered in the public hearing. So council, I'll put that up to you all. We need to address each one separately, D, E, and F. D is related to 2117 Pat Booker, as is E and as is F. And we'll get into E and H in a minute. So these first three were that first public hearing that we had with the series of 3. So any discussion by anyone? Yes, Ms. Bowman.
I have a couple of questions. So I'm not opposed to the electric charging station parking lot, but I did. We're not that one. Oh, sorry, we're not doing all 3. You're gonna.
No, we're doing the ones related to 2117 Pat Booker Road for the office.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. Okay, I don't have anything. Sorry.
That's for suites A, B, and then 3 different.
I got what you're saying.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll get to you in a second.
I do want to point out on page, I don't know how yours said it, but on page 10 of 185,
your motion is there because obviously you're approving 3. So we just ask that you be very specific for your motion.
So the first one has to be on related to tab D.
Yeah, sorry.
Mr. Najarian.
Thank you. Yeah, looking at that piece of property, I just, the weight zone now and the type of zoning we're asking to, that you there now is, as I look out and see Daniels and everybody out here, friendships and everything in the city is one thing and then business is business. But it just so happens that this is perfect zoning for this area. And we just get the double luxury of having people that have been in this neighborhood for years. I started out being your neighbor when I moved out through here, and just as Councilwoman Bulman has said, you've been to everything, and bringing in good business this is perfectly suited for it. So I'm welcoming this with open arms.
Okay. So again, the motion needs to say that this first book under D would be for Daniels and Daniels.
Yes. I make a motion that we move to approve that ordinance for Daniels and Daniels.
Okay, have a motion, do I have a second?
I think she wants us to read this whole thing and see it says.
Oh, okay.
Like she has it all typed out.
We need
So-
totally specific, okay.
You're the one, I'll do it. So, I'll do it. Since I messed up. Okay. Motion to approve PCS 597599 and 600 SU 018020021. After conducting public hearings on the request for a specific use permit for the property at 217 Pat Booker and receiving the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation, City Council has considered the request and moves to approve PCS 597599 and 600 SU 18, 20, and 21, and to grant a specific use permit to allow an administrative and business offices use to Daniels and Daniels Real Estate for real estate office at 217 Pat Coker Road, Suite A, rooms 13 through 24, PC 59-7, SU 18. Acorn Legacy Inc. for a telecom service recovery office at 217 Pat Booker, Suite B, rooms 10 and 11, PC 599, SU 020. Farmers Insurance for an insurance office at 217 Pat Booker Road, Suite B, rooms 1 through 7, PC 600, SU 21.
That was extremely well presented. Okay, there's the motion, and who's?
I'll second.
Oh, will be the second. That covers tabs D, E, and F. That covers all 3 tabs, correct? Covers all 3 tabs.
Yes.
All right. Any other discussion? Yes, Mr. Buck.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Pittman, your last name is Ms. Pittman, yes? I'm sorry.
No, that was the
auditor. I'm sorry. Your father owned the law office that was in this for many years. I had a lot of legal work done in there. Spent quite a few hours in that office, and I was disappointed when I drove by and saw that it was closed. So when I saw this come up, that we're getting some new office space in there, and especially businesses that are already located within Universal City, as well as getting some new businesses into Universal City, that certainly warms my heart to see that building coming back into.
I would like to point out that these are professional businesses. We did have some title companies in there. We've had a couple of accountants in there, Mr. Sims, Schoolcraft. We've had a lot of attorneys through there. It's just, it's nice to be here with you guys, but vote yes.
And to the Daniels and Daniels team, thank you for staying local. We appreciate your dedication to the city. Everything that my esteemed colleague, Ms. Bulman, said earlier, I would like to second all of that. We are very happy to have you and glad to see you expanding. To the Farmers Insurance folks, the Hickman family, glad to have you here with us. We welcome the increased business that you guys will bring and the traffic that's going to come into Universal City. Not from a traffic jam standpoint, but rather from people coming into Universal City to conduct their business. And to Acorn Legacy, understanding that you're not going to be a huge impact to the city in terms of traffic or anything like that. We are certainly glad to have you here occupying that business space. So thank you to everybody and I look forward to a successful vote this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, call for the vote, please, Mary Beth.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck.
Aye.
And motion passes. Congratulations. We look forward to working with all of you. Thank you very much. Two more items and then we'll finish this evening. Tab number G is our next item for, and that's Ordinance 655 P 2024, and this is related to a specific use permit to KMS Delivery Inc. for the commercial off-street parking use in C2 retail. And it provides for severability and establishing an effective date. So that was the second series of public hearings. Yes, Ms. There you go.
Oh, sorry, okay. So I'm not opposed to the project at all, but I did bring up a good question that a couple of people had. Since this is obviously like a new thing for like the world, because it's electric cars, do we have any safety precautions that like, people are just kind of curious, like if we continue to get more charging stations in UC, like I know some of the apartment complexes are now getting them, like does Universal City and specifically the fire have safety procedures and standards in place, like if a vehicle goes up in flames, which has happened, like do we
Yes.
already have all that? I just
We talked
wasn't
about
sure.
this at the planning and zoning meeting, so thank you
Okay.
for bringing it back up. So yes, everybody understands that when an electric vehicle goes on fire, and fire is hot. And it burns for a long time, and it does require a lot of water. So the fire department is well aware of that. But there are technologies that have come out, like big blankets that they throw over them that kind of suffocate the fire. We do have those. We don't practice with them because they can only be used once. But yeah, you'll see that there's a lot of new technology coming out from fire departments in dealing with that. But, you know, your basic thing is going to be water, 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 lots of water.
Awesome. That's all. I mean, I just, like I said, it was just something to consider since
Yes.
we have more, like this might not be the only one. So I just thought it was a good question someone asked me, so I brought it up. Awesome, thanks.
Mr. Becker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Regarding the construction of the site, is this going to require a new transformer to be installed? Is the electric load going to be such that it will require a new transformer to be installed?
So CPS Energy is still doing their engineering study. It will likely be a small pad-mounted transformer, similar to like the ones you see in residential neighborhoods or small commercial projects. But they're still evaluating if the existing transformers were equivalent or efficient enough, essentially.
Okay. And the reason I ask is, will there be an interruption to the electric service in the neighborhood when the construction is going on, and specifically when the transformer is installed, when the individual chargers are brought online?
Not that CPS Energy has told us. They said they can basically install it and then connect it to the grid.
Please. Thank you.
A question that now, it says it's not open to the public, it's private, and it's for commercial use. So we're talking the new, what used to look like diesel trucks,
Correct, yes.
battery, and they're requiring 7 to 8 hours?
4 to 7, depending on the battery size. There's going to be 2 different size modules, depending on how far the trucks need to go. But depending also on the depending also on the actual chargers we're installing. So we're deciding on 50 or 80 amp chargers, and those are all scalable, so you can moderate essentially the amps that each charger is getting. So that's kind of the range based on charger design and then battery pack capacity.
And another question, so since they're commercial vehicles, you're talking about some of them probably have a load with them, so
they would be
18,
they
could be
actually
18 heck wheelers and.
So they're, if you think about like FedEx and UPS trucks, they'll be similar, so vans essentially.
Okay.
And they won't actually have any merchandise on them when they're charging. That's all offloaded prior at the station, but the site's just charging them because the current terminal, they basically the site owners wouldn't allow for electrification because of the expense.
So, and then this is, when you say commercial, this is open up to a bunch of different companies or just?
No, just, so our company contracts with FedEx, so it looks like a FedEx truck essentially, or some of the smaller ones. But we deliver all the FedEx packages in certain zip codes around this area.
I'm going to ask one more question. Why did you choose this particular site? It's in back of a residential area, but I mean, just from a business standpoint, why did you choose this particular site?
Sure. So the terminal is located about 5 miles away in Schertz. So we kind of just did a grid search, expanding out, and the site seemed to fit our needs with space and zoning compliance. And we didn't want something that was, 20 miles away because that adds logistically complex to the operations. But it's pretty much a straight shot over to Schertz, about 4.5, 5 miles to the terminal where all the packages are picked up and dropped off.
And I have one other question. Sorry for
That's okay.
too much of your time. This is new technology coming out. This is electricity, especially this is Texas, and it's controversial. Let's wait a second. What's the life of a unit? I mean, how long do these units last?
So current estimates 8 to 9 years, so pretty similar to their gasoline and diesel component or counterparts. With diesel and gas, you can replace engines. With electric vehicles, you can replace battery packs, but based off the original design with the current packs, about 8 or 9 years.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Is there any specific language, or we can just have an approval?
Yes, sir. As you know, there were a couple of conditions that the Planning and Zoning Commission made a recommendation to you. Michael has been kind enough and has typed everything up on page 25 of 185 for you.
Okay. Mr. Goolsby?
He's got
Mr. Bauer?
All right. After conducting a public hearing on the request for a specific use permit for the property at 890 Coronado Boulevard and receiving the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation, City Council has considered the request and moves to approve PC 598 and SU 019 and to grant a specific use permit to KMS Delivery Incorporated to allow commercial off-street parking use for electric vehicle charging in a C2 retail district at 890 Coronado Boulevard with the following conditions. 1. Adherence to the CPS color-coded energy conservation system with regard to charging of electric vehicles during yellow, orange, and red alerts. And 2, the use of downward or shielded lot lighting to reduce the light pollution impact on nearby residential neighborhoods.
That motion has been made by Councilmember Buck. Do I have a second?
second.
Second by Member Tim Goolsby. Any further discussion, anyone? Well read, Stephen.
I want to go home.
First round. Call for the vote then, please.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
No.
Okay, the motion passes 3-1. Okay, it moves on to tab number H, and this is ordinance 655-2024, related to a specific use permit for Millenium Engineers Group for professional office in a C2 retail located at 1202 Pat Booker Road, and is again providing for non-severability and establishing an effective date. We have specific terminology for this one as well.
Yes, sir. Page 33 of your
Page
packet.
33.
Okay, I knew it. Motion to approve PC 601 after conducting a public hearing on the request for a specific use permit for the property at 1202 Pat Booker Road and receiving the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation. City Council has considered the request and moves to approve PC 601 and SU 022 and to grant a specific use permit to Millenium Engineers Group, Inc. to allow a professional office use in the form of an engineering office at 1202 Pat Booker Road.
Okay, yeah, the motion, now we have a second. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Buck. Thank you, Mr. Goolsby.
Thanks, sir. So at one time we talked, he wants to go home, so I want to give a little word. We've had the discussion about how we do need a good mix of business and retail and things like that, but that we need to be cautious that we don't give away all of our retail. The previous properties were not professional office, they weren't retail, they were professional office. This one in particular is was retail.
It was an office before it was retail.
It was an office before it was
It was a
retail.
CPA.
Fantastic. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. But we just, when y'all feel that we have hit that balance, will you make sure you let us know?
We absolutely will let you know. In fact, we're hoping when we get to our comprehensive zoning plan that we'll put some, you'll work with us to put some parameters in place on how to decide when we hit our mix.
I mean, I think a city planner might have really good opinion on that. So that's what I'm looking for, is to make sure that y'all will say, hey, guys.
Right, and the difficulty of this property is how far it is set back from the street, and it's not visible from every direction.
I was also really worried about that 6-inch strip that we're going to approve.
It's befuddling. But yeah, this property is really not conducive to retail. It has no visibility.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, Mary Beth.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian.
Aye.
That motion passes. That concludes our business for this evening. Thank you, everyone. I wish you all the best. All of you that are going to be moving into our neighborhood, welcome to the family. We treat all of our businesses as family. And I think we'll find that to be very, very helpful to you. We really support our owners. So thank you very much. It is now 7:53, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.